Okay, we're going to use proportions to solve word problems now. So here are a few steps. Determine what you are comparing. Set up your proportion. Okay, you must label first. And then we're going to fill in all the unknown information and then solve. You always want to finish a word problem with a sentence. So let's dig into the first one. You can do 15 math problems in 22 minutes. How long should it take you to do 20 problems? Two things we're looking at. We are looking at math problems and we are looking at minutes. Okay, so those are the two things we're going to be comparing. So I'm going to do P for problems and M for minutes. So we are going to set up our lines and we're going to set up our two ratios. Okay, we want to make sure that we put our equal sign in here because we know that they are going to be equal to each other. They're a proportion. So here we're going to put our first one, which is P for math problems, over M for minutes. We have 15 problems that can be done in 22 minutes. How long should it take you to do 20 problems? Well, P is my top ratio, so it's going to go here, and we are going to put in the number 20. Now we're going to start using a variable to represent what needs to be found, and that is going to be M for minutes. All right, based on our work that we did the other day, can we move from 15 to 20 easily? Are we able to use a scale factor from 15 to 20? No. Can we simplify 15 over 22? Nope. So we need to use our cross multiplication. So I am going to multiply 22 times 20 and 15 times M. We'll pick up our equation. Okay, so I am going to type 15 times M is going to be 15M, and that is going to equal 22 times 20. We have 15M equals 22 times 20 is 440. Now we know that we need to divide both sides by 15. So if we divide both sides by 15, I'll just write that in a text box. Okay. Divide both sides by 15. We are going to get M equal to 29 and 3/10 repeater. Now, I don't know if I have a repeaters bar in here, but I certainly can take and draw my line over my 3. Okay, my 29 and 3/10 repeater. So now your final answer is going to be 29 and 3/10 repeater minutes to do 20 math problems. All right, always finishing with the sentence. So always have your labels, set up your ratios, and then always finish with the sentence. Okay, let's go to the next one. A diagram measuring 20 centimeters long and 16 centimeters wide is enlarged to 35 centimeters long. What is the width? Okay, so we are looking at length and we are looking at width. Okay, so our labels go ahead and draw our lines. We're going to have 1 for our labels and then 2 more. That's going to represent our proportion. Okay, so I'm going to put my equal sign because my proportion has to be equal to each other. We are comparing length and width. Once you have your labels in there, it's going to be easy for you to fill in the numbers that are missing. So we have 20 centimeters long. So this is going to be 20. And we have 16 centimeters wide. This picture is going to be enlarged to 35 centimeters long. So that would go up here, and that would be 35 centimeters long. So we are looking for W. Now, there are many different ways that we've learned to solve a proportion. Now here, I can't go from 20 to 35 because that's not going to give me a whole number, but I can simplify 20 over 16. So if I was to simplify 20 over 16, what would I get? What would I need to divide by? I would need to divide both by 4. So if I divided by 4 over 4, what would my new ratio be? And that would be 20 divided by 4 is 5, and 16 divided by 4 is 4. Now, am I going to be able to go across? Yes, I am. So I'm going to have 35 over W. Don't forget that you need to put your equal sign in between. So now I can go from 5 to 35, and I can go from 4 to W by multiplying by 7. So I am going to put this up here. We're going to multiply by 7. And we are also going to multiply by 7. And we know that 4 times 7 is going to equal 28. So W equals 28. So our final sentence will be the width is 28 centimeters. Put a T there, make that a capital T. All right, 3 problems. 1 more to go. The ratio of purple bikes to red bikes is 8 to 12. So we're talking already, the ratio of purple bikes to red bikes is 8 to 12. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to draw my lines just to get started. 1 and 2, because I already know a ratio here. So my ratio is going to be purple bikes, so purple, over red bikes. Purple bikes, it's going to be 8, and red bikes, it's going to be 12. Okay, so there's my first ratio based on that first sentence. Now, there are 100 bikes total. So there's a key word here that we're looking for. A total of 100 bikes. Now, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. If we're looking at a total part to part, this ratio is part purple, part red. How do I make that ratio into part to whole? That means we have to combine the total number of bikes that we have. So that's 8 purple and 12 red. So it would be, oops, sorry about that. It would be 8 plus 12 equals 20 total bikes. So now we're going to use that information to find out how many are purple out of 100. So we know now we're going to change this to our new ratio, which is going to be, draw out my 3 lines, okay, and put my equal sign in between. And we want purple to total bikes, not just purple to red, but purple to total. So we know that we have 8 purple bikes, and we know that the total is going to be 20 bikes. So now if the store has 100 bikes, we need to find out how many of those are going to be purple. So I am going to put 100 here. Now, is it easy enough? Oops, I'm sorry. Let me put a P here for purple, because that's the variable that I want to use. I'm looking for purple bikes. Now, is it easy enough for us to use a scale factor here between 20 and 100? Sure is. So that's going to be times, and this one is going to be times. Now, what are we multiplying by? Okay, we are going to multiply by 5. Down here, multiply by 5. 20 times 5 is 100. 8 times 5 is 40. So P equals 40. So your final sentence, out of 100 total bikes, there are 40 purple bikes. Okay, so we're always looking to identify our variables that we are going to be working with. So purple to red. In this case, we had to add them because they were looking for total bikes. And then we set up our labels always. I told you that's why it's really important that you always put your labels on there. And then you set up your ratios. Okay, always with the final sentence. If we're dealing with word problems, we always have a final sentence.